The door slams on its own, and the grandfather clock starts counting. Toward midnight, you've got one key, 2 angry ghosts, and a haunted manor that doesn't like quitters. But on the night before Halloween, are you brave enough to play by the house rules, where winner takes you?
There's a chill in the air. Must be fall. Join me for a tale of Halloween. You will experience tales of horror, ghosts, and death. It is not recommended for the weak at heart. Join me for a tale of Halloween. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's the day before Halloween. The big one. The most eerie day of the year. And the 6th anniversary of Weekly Spooky. I'm your host and narrator Enrique Couto, and don't you worry, we have something scary for you to enjoy as you get ready for your mischief night. And I want to remind you that tomorrow we'll be back, yet again, with a scary story from Weekly Spooky original, Shane Migliavacca, that I know you'll enjoy. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcasting app. And be aware that on Saturday, November 1st, we'll have a little something to help you wash down the spooky Halloween hangover. So subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and leave us a 5-star rating while you're at it. It really helps new listeners find the show. But before we brave Grimm Manor, I want to thank our latest sponsor here at Weekly Spooky, Cozy Earth. With ridiculously comfortable bedding and loungewear, they help make spooky nights in that much more devilish. So whether you need sheets for your bed, comfy pajamas, or a cozy robe, head to CozyEarth.com and enter promo code SPOOKY at checkout and get 41% off your first purchase. That's 41% with code SPOOKY at checkout. And every purchase helps support Weekly Spooky going on and on. That's CozyEarth.com. But now, as for tonight, gather close, my spookies. What if a dare on Halloween led you into a manor that remembers every footstep, every whisper, every mistake? What if the only way out was hidden behind riddles, old keys, and the patience of the dead? Tonight we test courage the way October intended, inside a house that decides who leaves and who stays forever. Halloween Night at Grimm Manor by Rob Fields. In Strickfield's chill, the pumpkins leak light. The backwoods road swallows all the night. At Grimm Manor's porch, the hinges all grin. The door sighs open and pulls travelers in. August and Dorothy hush, banish all din. Still every quarrel, the house drinks in. One night for one key before the last chime. Fail and the manor collects you in time. The game room deals circles of cards and wheel. Bets turn to bindings that tighten like steel. A Sudoku scrolled in chalk and bone solve every crossing or harden to stone. In the parlor, portraits refuse to agree, spot what has shifted or lose the right key. The grandfather clock chews the minutes like bread. 12 black crows roost on the hands overhead. Daisy May laughs, brave as a harvest queen. Carnelian boasts that fear won't be seen. Truck Tucker stands quiet, broad as a wall. Jasper Jinx whispers the numbers to call. Sheet white phantoms drift, smiling and slight. Lantern eyes salt every corner with night. Remember this warning carved under eaves. Turn back at the birch where the backwoods leaves. If pride bites hard and you follow the scene, do not go to Grimm Manor on Halloween. Boy, time sure flies, doesn't it? I mean, 1 minute I was a preteen at Strickfield Junior High. Now I'm sitting in front of my computer and writing my memoirs. You'd think Strickfield was just some little hole in the wall in Ohio that time seemed to have forgotten. It was like this village stopped around the end of the 1980s and almost never evolved after that. There were arcades, with games only costing $0.25 per play. There were daily newspapers with carriers on bicycles delivering them. There was even a live operator when you dialed 0 on landline telephones. I could go on and on just talking about how vintage Strickfield is, mainly in downtown Village and some of the outskirts. Let's be honest here. Not a whole heck of a lot has changed since I grew up. I did know people who couldn't wait to get out of Strickfield. Not me. Not only did I go to college here, I ended up getting a job here right after graduation. Down the road, I bought a house and eventually married a woman from here. I just didn't want to leave. I also have other family living here. Speaking of family, you know you'll always have yours when it comes to your parents and siblings, if you have any. But there are those times in your life when you go out and make a whole other family with your friends. It's that family you go through the rest of your school years with. After graduation, you might end up going your separate ways. And then there are those circles that just never part. You might say I think about my other family all the time. Honestly, I think that is what's making me write these memoirs. After racking my brain, trying to think of where to start, I talked with my wife about it. She simply said, just start from the beginning. So I'm going to start where my other family began. Like I said, it was at Strickfield Junior High. I was only a few months into the 7th grade. I was just glad to be out of Strickfield Elementary and moving closer to Strickfield High. I just had to make a little 2-year stop in between first. I can just picture October of that year all over again. It was fall, chilly, and getting closer to Halloween. I was walking the halls of Strickfield Junior High just minding my own business. Yeah, there were other kids from my part of Strickfield. We'd nod at each other when we passed in the halls. Some of us were likely making trouble for Principal Benjamin Van Diest. Not me, though. My parents were the kind of people who believed there was a time and a place when it came to trouble. School was definitely not one of those places, unless it was for a good reason. I'll get to that later. I was leaning up against my locker and watching everything. You'd know what part of Strickfield I was from just by looking at my clothes. Faded jeans, torn at the knees, a white t-shirt under a leather jacket, and my boots. Sometimes I'd wear shades. Yeah, I came from what you'd call the bad part of town, over where the bikers lived. They're still there today. In fact, I still have family living there, and I go see them when I can. Anyway, I was seeing the regulars coming in. Madeline Donnerly just walked in with her best friend Carter Cross. At that point, I didn't know either of them personally, but I knew for a fact Ariel Mirren was lurking around somewhere. See, Carter and Ariel had their little feud going on. It was no secret that Ariel quickly became the most popular girl in our school. Anyway, Carter Cross had recorded a video of Ariel and her little cousin Stuart on his phone, eventually posting it to Facebook. Carter and I didn't really know each other, but we were friends on Facebook. I respected him for being the kind of guy he was, so I sent him a friend request. I mostly just lurked on his posts. I rarely ever replied to anyone on social media, unless I felt like I had something to say. "I hate you, Carter Cross!" Ariel suddenly surprised Carter by coming, seemingly out of nowhere. "Morning, Princess!" Carter dropped his books and ran. Ariel was a fast runner, so I wasn't sure he got far. As for little Madeline Donnerly, she shook her head slowly and muttered, "Aw, man." Then she picked up Carter's books and walked after him and Ariel. Most everybody called Madeline Mouse on the count of how short and skinny she was. She was probably the most laid-back girl I knew. Nothing ever seemed to bother her. Speaking of Madeline, there were actually 3 of them. Madeline had 2 cousins that looked exactly like her in almost every way. You could have easily said they were natural triplets. Madeline's older cousin, Aileen, was repeating her senior year at Strickfield High at the time. But the other cousin I want to tell you about is that feisty one who always got everybody's attention. Daisy Mae Donnerly. Unlike Madeline, this Donnerly triplet was anything but laid back. She was kind of like me in terms of wearing the same style clothes every day. She always wore light blue bib overalls, a red t-shirt, and sneakers. While Madeline and Aileen always wore their hair down, Daisy Mae almost always wore hers up in pigtails. She also wore the same style of glasses as both of her cousins. If you've ever seen Velma Dinkley in the Scooby-Doo cartoons, then you have a pretty good approximation of the Donnerly triplets' glasses. And today, little Daisy Mae Donnerly got real feisty when she pointed right at Carnelian Mirren. Most everybody called her Carney. Even though Ariel quickly became the most popular girl in our school, Carnelian was looking to overthrow her cousin. Not only did Carnelian's name stick out, so did her wardrobe. Every day she came to school wearing a proper pantsuit. Unlike Daisy Mae and me, she didn't always wear the exact same style. I also learned that Carnelian had a rapport with some of the teachers. In fact, I knew she had a great rapport with Coach Ed Neefer, since he had recruited her to be one of his assistant coaches. Football season was getting on the tail end. Our win-loss record was kind of Our team had people like Carter Cross and Rodney Truck Tucker playing for them, but having Carter's muscle and Truck's height and weight just wasn't enough. Strickfield Junior High just didn't have fast runners. We were down to our last 2 games and had to win both to make the playoffs. Getting back to now, Daisy Mae Donnerly showed she wasn't afraid of Carnelian and shoved her into some lockers. "I'm tired of telling you, Carney Mirren," she yelled in her rich southern accent. "Leave Cousin Maddie alone." Just after Ariel started chasing Carter, Carnelian started giving Madeline a hard time. Truth is, I didn't think anyone could get on Madeline's bad side. She just simply shrugged her shoulders at Carnelian and walked away, never looking the least bit scared. Daisy May saw this confrontation and went right at Carney. She smiled her wicked smile. "Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. There are 2 little mice walking around our school. I guess I'll just have to exterminate you both." Daisy May grabbed Carnelian and took her down to the floor. This was one of those times when I had to get in trouble. Once I saw a few people in the office, no doubt to report the fight, I moved away from my locker and went to the girls wrestling on the floor. "Get off me, you little simpleton!" Carnelian yelled. "Oh, I'll get off y'all right," Daisy May yelled back. "Right after I'm done whooping your butt." When the girls were back on their feet, I got right in between them. "That's enough." Carnelian tried reaching around me to get a cheap shot in on Daisy May. I quickly lifted my arm and blocked her. Then our eyes met when I pointed right at her. I said, "That's enough." She glared at me. "This is none of your business, greaser." I rolled my eyes. It wasn't my first time being called a greaser. My hair was combed all nice and neat, but I never used product. Other members of our community did, though, especially when they were working as auto mechanics around Feltner County. Now the girls tried getting around me to get at each other again. I kept moving in between them to keep them apart. This wasn't the first time Daisy May and Carnelian got into skirmishes. In fact, Daisy May's family just moved to Strickfield from Pendleton not too long ago. Carnelian took one look at her and immediately started giving her a hard time. Daisy May surprised her by going at her. Unfortunately, Principal Van Diest had seen their first fight and had them both in the office. Little Daisy May wasn't even afraid to speak up against the principal. Long story short, they weren't suspended. But I knew, sooner or later, they would be. "I said stop it!" Now Principal Van Diest was eyeing all 3 of us. He pointed right at me and motioned for me to get away from the girls. Then he gave me that look that said he knew I'd stopped them, and kinda thanked me for it at the same time. Unfortunately, my efforts were all for naught. Carnelian made it very clear that things were not over. Most unfortunately for Daisy May, her temper often got the best of her. That little spitfire lashed out and knocked Carnelian back to the floor. Principal Van Diest grabbed Daisy May's arm and yelled for her to get to the office right now. Carnelian got up and glared at her. It was no secret little Daisy May Donnerly knew how to fight and was always ready to do just that. I just wished she hadn't shoved Carnelian when Principal Van Diest was right there to see it. I could only imagine what was going to happen. I wouldn't get my answer until close to the end of the school day. Daisy May didn't get suspended. Carnelian suggested to Principal Van Diest that she should serve time out on the football field as a kind of gopher, water girl, or whatever you'd call it. Carnelian couldn't have manipulated things any better. Not only did she keep ragging on Daisy May, some of the football players were also giving her a hard time. Usually I went to the football practices after school. I didn't know why, but I liked watching the team practice. Only now, practices were about to get a lot more interesting, with Daisy May there. At times I noticed Truck Tucker would look at her. I knew Daisy May and Truck were close friends, much the same way Madeline Donnerly and Carter Cross were. Unlike Carter, I knew Truck had a thing for Daisy May. I could tell he wanted to ask her out to a movie many times. Then he'd back off, Just like that. I think it was because he was afraid she would reject him. Daisy May and Truck knew each other since they were kids. In other words, Daisy May had lived in Strickfield once before. Thinking about it, Carter Cross wasn't afraid to tell his fellow football players to leave Daisy May alone. But I could see the look on her face. You just knew that little Spitfire was waiting for her moment. It finally came when the football landed near her in the end zone. She picked up the ball and held on to it, just as one of the jocks on Carnelian's side approached her. "Come on, give me the ball!" I heard him yell. Daisy May smirked. "You want this ball right here?" He tightened his fists and practically screamed. "Just give me the ball, you stupid little weasel!" Now it's Daisy May's turn to get an evil face of her own. "Well, if you're really wanting this ball, here!" Daisy May threw the football right in his stomach, making him fall on his backside. When his fellow players saw this, they started moving towards her. "You're dead!" The sentiment echoed through the entire team. Daisy May picked up the football again as she kept her evil face on. I could only guess what she was planning to do. When they were almost on her, Daisy May tucked the ball against her side. And away we go! Daisy May bolted right out of the end zone and straight at the football players. "You're dead meat!" The first one she came to yelled. When he lunged at Daisy May to tackle her, she simply put her hand on the back of his helmet and leapfrogged right over him to keep her forward momentum going. Daisy May kept moving and leaped up when two more players nearly had her. Her feet landed on their backs, which she used to propel herself away from them and land back on the turf. Carnelian couldn't believe what she was seeing. Come to think of it, neither was I. Daisy May Donnerly continued running downfield with the football in hand. I didn't know if those football players were telegraphing their moves or what, but Daisy May was avoiding the boys who kept trying to rush her. You'd have thought at least one of them would have hit her and knocked the starch right out of her. Right then, Carter Cross, Truck Tucker, and a few of the other players were cheering her on. And who would have thought it? Daisy May Donnerly had reached the opposite end zone. She turned around and saw the football players were rushing her again. "Yeah? You feeble-minded shite-pokes couldn't lay your hands on me if I just stood right here and let you," Daisy May teased. "All right by me. We can go again, sure thing." Daisy May took off running with the football once more. Boy, was Coach Knifer ever losing his cool. You'd have thought he'd be yelling for Daisy May to stop playing around and bring back the ball, but he was yelling at his team for not being able to catch a squeaky little farm mouse. His words, not mine. When Daisy May made it back to her original end zone, she held out the football. "What's the matter? Y'all being weighed down by them rocks you keep in your heads?" When they were almost on her, she chanted out, "Fast as fast can be." Daisy May took off again. When the guys tried to tackle her together, she yet again leaped off the turf and landed on their backs. When she sprinted off of them and back onto the turf, again the players chased Daisy May downfield. She'd crossed the end zone with plenty of distance in between her and them. The coach had finally had enough. He grabbed Daisy May's arm from behind and took the ball away from her. Then he threw it right into the lead player and watched it bounce off his chest. "I'm calling practice for today. It's obvious to me you people ain't gonna win Friday afternoon's game." Then he screamed, "Get off my field!" He pointed at them fast. You can all count on extra duty the rest of this week. And next week after you lose Friday's game and we don't make the playoffs." He turned back to Daisy May and saw her wicked little smile. "Howdy, sir," she squeaked. The coach tightened his jaw. "You come with me right now, you wicked little country mouse." I'd have thought Daisy May would have shown her spirit again, but she walked casually with the coach. Just looking at Carnelian's face said it all. You just knew Daisy May was in serious trouble. I had that gut feeling she was going to get suspended, or maybe lots of detention time. The next morning at school, it was Carnelian who approached Daisy May. She put her finger right in her rival's face. "I don't know what you did, but there's just no way." Daisy May didn't look the least bit intimidated. "You can go and talk to the coach. Don't you be getting all up in my face about it." Carnelian quickly removed her backpack and let it drop to the floor. "I don't care what happens. I'm so sick and tired of you thinking you've got a place here." Then she raised her fists. "I'm going to show you how a real girl fights." Daisy May raised hers. "Yeah? Fine by me, you rich Hickenbottom." And again, I quickly got in between them. Carnelian lowered her fists and pointed at me. "This isn't your fight, Bill Bear. Stay in your own lane." I looked right at Carnelian. "Do you want to get suspended? Principal Van Diest just suspended some people this week for fighting." Carnelian shoved me. "I said, mind your own business, you greaser." When Daisy May tried getting around me to get to Carnelian, I had to keep her back too. Then she looked right at me. "Don't care none if I get suspended, Billy. Just let me at her." She pointed at Carnelian. "I am tired of you thinking just because your family's got money that you can tell the rest of us what to do. Yeah, I'm just itching to give you a good old-fashioned butt-kicking." I was in trouble. Those two girls really wanted to get around me so bad that I got tangled up in between them. You just knew Principal Van Diest was going to catch us. Before we knew it, the three of us were heading into the office. We were all sitting in chairs when he took his own, behind his desk. Now, having been through all my years at Strickfield schools, I can tell you that Benjamin Van Diest was more easygoing than his older brother from Strickfield High. Anyway, he was just looking at all of us and shaking his head slowly. He pointed to the girls. "You two are getting worse than Ariel Mirren and Carter Cross. At least I only have to stop them when Ariel's chasing Carter down the hallway. But you two, you're getting to be the worst with fighting in school." He pointed to Carnelian. "You better get it straight that you are no better than any other student here at my school." Then he pointed to Daisy May. "And you need to remember that we don't use our fists to solve our problems here." Daisy May shot out of her chair and pointed at Carnelian. "Then you better tell this Hickenbottom here she better quit riding me." She pointed to the principal. "'Cause I'm telling you right now, I ain't taking no sass from her." Principal Van Diest took a deep breath. "Take it easy, Miss Donnerly. In fact, you know what? Why don't you save all that gusto for your first game Friday after school?" Now Carnelian interrupted. "And that's another thing." She pointed at Daisy May. "This little country mouse here doesn't deserve to be on the football team. Not only is she a little farm rodent, she's a..." She gave Daisy May her evil smirk. "Well, you're definitely not a girl, that's for sure. I mean, you're too stupid to even understand that you're a girl." Daisy May shot towards her, but I quickly got up and kept her back. She pointed right at her. And you ain't no proper lady, no sir. Keep riding me and I'll ride you like I ride Daredevil, my horse. Carnelian shot out of her chair. Yeah, I'd like to see you try and ride me, you little... That's enough! Principal Van Diest interrupted. Sit! All of you! When we were all seated again, our esteemed leader gave his decision. Okay, from now on, you two girls are not going to have any further conflicts on school property. He raised his finger. Because the next time you do, I'll personally expel you both and escort you off school property. Then you two can fight all you want, knowing you'll never be returning to Strickfield Village schools ever again. Do I make myself clear? I kind of waved my hand a little bit. And me, Mr. Van Diest? He looked at me now and laughed a little. I just wanted you here to sit in between these girls and keep them apart. You are free to go. Carnelian gave me her evil look. In other words, Greaser, none of your business. Principal Van Diest pointed at her. Can it, Carnelian? She ignored him and looked at Daisy May. You know what? I don't have to show you I can fight, do I? She laughed scornfully. Okay, Mr. Van Diest, I'll do whatever you say. This little country mouse is going to be exterminated when she plays in Friday's game against North Ridgeway. I happen to know those guys are absolute monsters. In fact, they're undefeated. North Ridgeway's got a whole team of Truck Tuckers and Carter Crosses playing for them. They're going to squash that little country mouse good. She won't even be back at school come Monday morning. Principal Van Diest pointed at her again. I said, can it, Carnelian? Like your cousin Ariel, you're going to learn you do not run my school. That's my job. This is my last warning. No more conflicts between you two on school property. So much as one more. You're both done here. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir, Daisy May said, clearly showing she respected authority. Carnelian gave her evil face again, before she muttered, Yes, sir. Okay, get to class, Principal Van Diest said with finality. From there, the three of us got up and left the office. Yeah, that sure was an interesting experience that morning, huh? Let's get serious here. I didn't know yet why Carnelian Mirren felt she had to get on Daisy May Donnerly, but she sure loved riding her. True to her word, though, she left Daisy May alone in anticipation of the upcoming football game. Friday afternoon's game came, sure enough. I think Daisy May Donnerly got a lot of attention when the spectators on both sides saw the skinny little girl in her new football uniform. She didn't seem intimidated in the slightest. I could see Carnelian Mirren looking at her with her evil look again. She couldn't wait to see Daisy May possibly get run over by those monsters that were the North Ridgeway Truckers. Carnelian wasn't kidding in the principal's office. The North Ridgeway junior high team had big and tall kids playing for them. Heck, you'd have thought it was the high school team. Our team only had one monster guy in Truck Trucker and one muscly guy in Carter Cross. North Ridgeway actually injured kids from other schools in their schedule. I'd seen a few of the posts on social media that our guys were wimps who'd be getting scraped off the field. Thinking about it, both Daisy May's triplet cousins were there to watch her, and were sitting with her parents. Seriously, you'd swear those girls were real triplets with the same parents. Of course, you could tell who's who with the clothes they wear and their hairstyles. But if they decided to dress the same to throw everybody off, you just had to look at their eyes. Aileen's were brown, Madeline's were blue, and Daisy May had green ones. But Daisy May's cousins definitely looked worried. For the record, the Strickfield villagers practiced at Harmon Field, a public park that had an unmarked football field and goalposts, but they played the actual games at Strickfield High. Also, none of the guys on the villagers made any move to turn against Daisy May. Believe me, I was at football practice right after school and sitting in my usual place every day. Coach made it very clear that anyone who attacked Daisy May would automatically be expelled, per himself and Principal Van Diest. Also, Carter Cross and Truck Tucker were watching her back. When the North Ridgeway truckers saw Daisy May, that was all they did. None of them so much as laughed at her. I think it was safe to say someone from North Ridgeway came to scout our team and saw Daisy May at practice. None of our guys ever laid a hand on her when she was given the ball. When the game got underway, the coach kept Daisy May on the sidelines and just let the guys play. I felt Coach Neefer would only use her if he had to, which wouldn't be long. In fact, the truckers easily gained a 4-touchdown lead. Carter Cross almost scored a few times, but again, there was only one of him. Truck Tucker actually forced his way into the end zone for one score. 28-7 at the end of the first quarter. Things were not looking good for Strickfield. I could see the coach's hand on Daisy May's shoulder. He was talking to her. Daisy May nodded a few times. Then he patted her back and wished her good luck. When she went out onto the field, I saw people on both sides making the sign of the cross. Daisy May was going into the fire now and went downfield to wait for the kickoff. During practices, Coach worked with her as much as he could. Not just with the quarterback handing the ball off to her, but also at having her downfield to catch and run the ball on kickoffs or punts. Daisy May moved when the football was airborne. She jogged backwards until she felt she was right where the ball would reach her. She caught it and started running from the oncoming stampede. The spectators were enthralled when Daisy May showed everybody how quick and agile she was. She put her hand on top of the football helmet in front of her and propelled herself upward to leapfrog over the player. Clearly, she was keeping her eyes on the other team and knew exactly how to avoid them. Daisy May nearly got splattered when one player tried to tackle her, but hit one of his own instead. She landed on her feet and kept on moving. She wasn't just leapfrogging the players. She showed off her ability to truly run fast. I think the only person who could have matched her, maybe even beat her, would have been Ariel Mirren. At first, Carter Cross and Truck Tucker were the only players providing defense for Daisy May. The Strickfield fans erupted when Daisy May ran the ball in to bring the score 28-13. Afterward, the quarterback handed the ball off to Daisy May for a 2-point conversion. It was then when a few of her own players actually started praising her. No doubt Daisy May won the respect of her teammates that day. By halftime, the score was 31-28 in favor of Strickfield. Truck Tucker forced his way into the end zone yet again. Daisy May got the ball for another 2-point conversion. Carter Cross broke through a line to get into the end zone. After that, Daisy May got the ball again for 2 more points. After halftime, North Ridgeway was out for blood, clearly targeting Daisy May. In fact, when a North Ridgeway player deliberately clipped her from behind upon catching the ball, Carter Cross got into a fight with him. Both of them were disqualified. Aileen and Madeline were both worried at first, but Daisy May showed she was still in it when she got up on her own. She was a little winded but could walk off the field. The Strickfield side cheered loudly for her, knowing she was all right. Daisy May didn't score all the points in the second half, but Coach had strategies on how the team could use her so the other players could potentially score more. And he was right. It seemed the North Ridgeway players were so concentrated on Daisy May, they weren't sticking to the other players as well as they should have. At times, the quarterback faked giving Daisy May the ball. She was pretty convincing that she was carrying it. She got knocked around good, but that little country mouse, as Carnelian Mirren liked calling her, kept on getting back up. It would be clear after the game how much she got banged up, but it was safe to say she was one tough little girl. When it came to tackling members of the North Ridgeway team, our boys showed they could slow them down. North Ridgeway had the advantage of having the numbers to make a separate offense and defense. Strickfield had to play both sides since they never had that many kids going out for football, both at our school and the high school. Daisy May stayed out on the field. She couldn't help much in terms of tackling anybody. However, she proved herself on the defense by intercepting 3 passes during the game, all of which she ran back for touchdowns. I could see Carnelian Mirren fuming at Daisy May. She wasn't caring that Strickfield was on the verge of winning and possibly upsetting North Ridgeway. She wanted to see Daisy May get squashed again, to where she wouldn't get back up. She jumped for joy whenever Daisy May got tackled, but ended up heaving when she got back up. Carnelian screamed when Daisy May scored the winning touchdown for a final score of 54-49. She looked ready to run out onto the field to start another fight with her, but she stopped herself. She raised her fists and screamed again when the other players lifted Daisy May onto Truck Tucker's shoulders so he could carry her around the field. Strickfield roared with applause for both upsetting North Ridgeway and snapping their incredible winning streak. No team in the junior high division had beaten North Ridgeway in almost 5 years. One thing was for sure, though. Things weren't over between Daisy May and Carnelian. She knew she couldn't do anything at school. Technically, Harmon Field wasn't school property, but it was a school function during practices. Principal Van Diest could have still expelled her if she went at Daisy May. During the week, Carnelian tried intimidating Daisy May during football practices. When the other players finally turned on her and told her, in no uncertain terms, to shut up, that really made her fume something fierce. Carnelian looked ready to lose it when Daisy May contributed to Strickfield winning their final regular season game and clinching their playoff spot. Remember, Strickfield Junior High needed to win their final 2 games to get in. It was the final Tuesday of October now, and Halloween. Even though it was voted into Strickfield Village law that there was no school on both Halloween and November 1st, there were a few exceptions. For one thing, sports teams, drama, and band were still required to attend their regular practices. 2, and this is the big one, was that Strickfield Academy was exempt from this rule and had to go to school on both days. Coach held football practice on Halloween with an earlier start time. This way, the team could have their All Hallows Eve free. By now, Carnelian had finally had enough of seeing Daisy May being the center of attention on the football team, and marched right up to her. "Okay, that is it. I am so sick and tired of these guys treating you like you've always been a member of this team. You proved your point. Seriously, just leave." "I ain't done playing yet," Daisy May answered. "You know we gotta get through the playoffs now." "Carnelian!" Coach called out. "Leave her alone!" She raised her hand. "I'm not touching her, Coach. I'm just talking." "Now, Cornelian!" Coach persisted. So much for her rapport with him. Carnelian roared with anger and pointed right at Daisy May. "Either this country mouse goes, or I do." With that, Carnelian quit being an assistant coach. Then she got into it with Truck Tucker when he came to bat for Daisy May. Carnelian eventually turned away from Truck and left. He was easily the tallest and strongest kid at Strickfield Junior High. I personally never had a problem with him, but just looking up at him even scared me. As for Carnelian, she would return. Halloween evening, I was trick-or-treating with Daisy May Donnerly, Truck Tucker, and this other girl who gave me the willies. Actually, I think lots of kids at our school looked over their shoulders whenever Jasper was around. It was no secret she was from the Jinx family, as in the Jinx Works. These were both factories and stores dealing with toys, games, and practical joke items. The family business was what got her a reputation for being a prankster. Also, I wondered if Jasper had a thing for me, because she was always commenting on my Facebook posts and giving me hearts. Even though I was from the biker community, what could I have done to stop her? I couldn't just yell at her or treat her mean. If I did that, my parents would have let me know about it. Maybe other parents would have condoned that kind of behavior where I lived, but mine taught me to always be fair. I guess this is why I ended up going on a few dates and to a few parties with Jasper. Believe me, there was no way you could have missed that girl. She always wore 1980s fashions and listened heavily to that decade's music. When it came to her hair, she always had it in different colors. Tonight she had one side dyed black and the other orange. Halloween was obviously her favorite holiday, and she wanted to show it off. Jasper was a friend of Truck's. He'd messaged me on Facebook and asked me if I wanted to go trick-or-treating. I figured, why not? Of course, I had no idea he'd also asked Jasper. I had to hide how scared I was when I saw her. Jasper had moved to Strickfield with her family after a new Jinxworks factory opened outside the village. It turned out the two Bobbletopia stores here ordered some of their bobbleheads from them, because when we went into downtown village, Jasper got us to go into that location with her. We figured she wanted the candy Bobbletopia was handing out, but she wanted to show us which bobbleheads they had ordered from her family's factory. After getting the candy and leaving Bobbletopia, we walked around downtown village some more. As we were about to pass the alley by the Strickfield Centennial Theater, Carnelian Mirren suddenly appeared right in front of us. As usual, she wore a suit. She pointed right at Daisy May. "No, you will not be returning to school on Thursday as some big football hero. You're not even going to make it to any playoffs." Daisy May clenched her fists. "Ah, phoo. Can't I even get one night where I ain't got to look at you? It's Halloween and I'm going to enjoy it with my friends here." I threw up my arms. "Why do you have to cause problems?" She pointed right at me. "Once again, stay in your own lane, greaser." I'd had enough of her by now. No, seriously, quit giving Daisy May here a hard time. What did she ever do to you, huh? Carnelian smiled her evil smile. She didn't look at me, but she told Daisy May. Why don't I like you? Because I'm so sick of you walking the halls of our school all happy-go-lucky. Nothing bad ever happens to you or your city mouse cousin. No matter how many times I get you in trouble, you always get out of it. That's how you got on the football team, right? Daisy May pointed at her. All thanks to you, Carney. Carnelian tightened her fists. Shut up! You do not get to contradict me here. Too bad, Daisy May countered. I'm just pointing out it was you who told Principal Van Diest to put me on the football field. Carnelian raised her voice. Then you riled up the boys by grabbing their football and running up and down the field with it. You should have been expelled, country mouse. You hear me? Expelled. But no, you were given a uniform and put on the team. You had to get us into the playoffs when you should have been getting carted off to the hospital and out of my life forever. You are the reason I quit the team. Carnelian was really irritated now. I saw you get squashed on the field several times. You're just a little country mouse. Then she threw up her arms. And you just got up from all that and kept on playing. Carnelian heaved now. I'm so sick of you and your two cousins always being so perfect. My parents are constantly on me about being a proper Mirren. They just won't stop riding me. But you're just a squeaking little country mouse who gets everything handed to her because she's so perfect. Daisy May snickered. You think I'm so perfect? I can give you lots of reasons why I ain't. She raised her finger. I didn't just come into Strickfield Junior High all perfect like you're saying. I darn sure ain't going into my life story with you, but I ain't no different than you or anyone else. She folded her arms in front of her. If I didn't know better, I'd swear you was jealous of me. Why would you be jealous? You're a Mirren, ain't you? Don't you got all that money? Maybe you ought to spend some of your money and get your head examined. Then she unfolded her arms and pointed right at her. And you better remember, I ain't scared of nothing or nobody, including you. Carnelian growled with her fists balled, telling us Daisy May was right about the jealousy. Clearly she didn't like how Daisy May always held her head high. Then she shifted gears and put on her evil face again. Thank you so much. I know exactly how to get rid of you now, little Miss Perfect. Carnelian pointed at Daisy May. You say you're not afraid of anyone or anything? Well, how about you prove it? Tonight. Have you ever seen the Back to the Future movies? Remember how Marty McFly got into trouble because he refused to let people call him a chicken? Daisy May was the same way. You could see the stubbornness on that little Spitfire. What you got in mind, little Miss Hickenbottom? Daisy May boldly asked. Carnelian got mad again. Quit calling me a Hickenbottom. What the heck does that even mean anyway? Daisy May shrugged. Dunno. Just like the sound of it. Probably 'cause it suits snobs like you good. Now, what you got in mind? Carnelian smiled her evil smile yet again. I am so sick of hearing your squeaky little country mouse voice every day. So, you're going to prove that you're not scared whatsoever by spending 1 hour in Grimm Manor. You live out by the backwoods of Strickfield, right? so you shouldn't have any problem finding the place. Jasper Jinx quickly held up her hands. Whoa, like, Daisy May, I ain't been in Strickfield long, but I heard enough stories about Grimm Manor. Heck, you ain't even supposed to be in those backwoods. She turned to Daisy May. You really live out by there? Uh-huh, Daisy May confirmed. Me and my cousins all went back in there to get my dog, Old MacDonald, just after I moved back to Strickfield. We got him out and we've been just fine. Also, ain't nothing ever came out of them woods and onto our farm. Then you shouldn't have a problem going back in there tonight, huh? Carnelian emphasized. Truck put a hand on Daisy May's shoulder. You ain't gotta do it. You ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody, especially Carney Mirren here. But Carnelian wasn't finished yet. If you don't do it, Daisy May Donnerly, I'll tell everybody at school that you're just a fake who loves running your mouth. I'll tell everybody Little Miss Perfect chickened out on my dare tonight. But Daisy May wasn't just some dumb little farm girl. In class, she eagerly answered questions when teachers called on her. In truth, Daisy May was every bit as smart as Madeline. Nobody at school gave either of them a hard time about it because, well, they never showed it off. Daisy May pointed right at Carnelian. Yeah, you're gonna tell people at school the whole truth all right. Wanna know why? 'Cause you're going right into that house with me. Carnelian shook her head quickly. Oh no, I said you are going into that house. And you're coming with me, Daisy May fired back. How you gonna know if I went in or not? I'm going to be right outside, watching you go in, Carnelian snapped. Daisy May raised her finger. And for all you know, I could just walk right on out the back door. Either way, you'd be telling folks at school I was yella. With you coming in with me, you're gonna know for sure. Before Carnelian could counter again, Daisy May added, If you don't come in with me, Carney, then I'm gonna be the one calling you yella come Monday. Boy, did Daisy May ever play this chess game well. Carnelian's jaw dropped after hearing that. Then she took a deep breath and composed herself. Fine, Little Miss Perfect. I'll go in with you. How do we get out there? Jasper was on her phone. I'm on the Strickfield University's website. There's all kinds of stories on here about Grimm Manor, including an actual map on how to get there. I mean, how do we get there from downtown Village, you stupid halfwit? Carnelian snapped. We can't just walk out there. Daisy May raised her finger. I can go back home and get my motorbike. Then one of you can ride with me. I knew there was no way I was going to talk either of these girls out of it. Being I was in the same age group at the time, all I could offer was, I can go home and grab mine. Like Daisy May, I can only carry one other person. That leaves only one of us needing transportation. No sweat, Jasper replied. I got a motorbike too. What do you think then? I asked. We just go get our bikes and meet up near Daisy May's farm? Then Carnelian realized and looked at Daisy May. I have to ride with you? You could ride with Jinx if you don't want to ride with me, Daisy May answered. I ride real fast, so you better hang on to your Hickenbottom. Carnelian screamed at hearing that word again, getting the rest of us laughing at her expense. When we finished, she pointed to Jasper. No way. I'll take my chances with this freak here. Then I saw the mischievous smile on Jasper's face. Good choice, rich girl. That's the one I would have picked myself. Put her here. Carnelian cried out when Jasper grabbed her hand and shook it. When she withdrew her hand, she showed us the shock buzzer she'd used on Carnelian, getting us all laughing at her again. The rich girl glared at Jasper and screamed to where other trick-or-treaters walking around in downtown village stopped to look our way. "I hate you!" Carnelian fired at Jasper. All Jasper did was laugh, like the prankster she was, also proving she wasn't the stupid halfwit Carnelian made her out to be, after all. I couldn't believe we were really going to do this. There were 3 motorbikes and 5 of us. It was me and Truck Tucker on mine, Jasper on her own, and Carnelian riding with Daisy May. My gut feeling kept telling me we were going to get in trouble tonight, going into the backwoods of Strickfield. I wondered if everybody else had gut feelings. Well, except maybe Daisy May. "Jinx, let me see that map," Daisy May said, holding out her hand for Jasper's phone. "I'll do you one better." Jasper started a group chat with all of us and posted a photo of the map leading out to Grimm Manor. Then she looked a little scared. "Wow, we're really gonna do this?" "Darn straight," Daisy May returned, after checking out the map on her phone. "If we goin', then we goin' right now." "You leadin' the way?" Truck asked her. "I'll lead the way, but y'all better keep up," Daisy May called back. "Like I told Carney here, I ride real frickin' fast." Then she glanced over her shoulder. "Better hold on tight, Carney." Carnelian looked like she was going to snap at Daisy May, but as soon as the bike lurched forward, "You crazy little country mouse!" Jasper and I shot forward and followed Daisy May and Carnelian onto the road a little ways before turning off and heading into the backwoods of Strickfield. So many voices were shouting in my head, and my stomach was definitely fluttering fast. "You out of your mind? Get out of here while you still can! Now!" But Jasper and I kept with Daisy May's bike. Our headlights kept the trails and trees illuminated. I was expecting anything not human to come out at us at any time. I'd heard stories about all kinds of weird things living in here. I'm not sharing any of those stories here today, but I'm sure they'll be coming down the pike. Anyway, I had the feeling I was going to regret this in the morning, assuming we'd get out of here the same as we went in. Daisy May kept leading the way until we saw it in the distance. Grimm Manor. It really was one of those huge plantation houses we read about in history class. The closer we got to it, the bigger it seemed to get. It was like it was itching to swallow all of us as soon as we got close enough. It didn't, though. When we finally stopped in the front yard, Daisy May cut the engine on her bike. Then Jasper and I did the same with ours. I felt that gut feeling saying that somehow our bikes wouldn't fire up again. "Well, we's here," Daisy May cheered as she and Carnelian hopped off her bike. After we all lowered our bikes onto their sides, we gathered together at the front steps leading to the 2 double doors. "I can't believe we're all here at the Grimm Manor," Truck said in amazement. "And it's practically my backyard," Daisy May added. Carnelian gave Daisy May a rude bump. "And now you're going inside." She turned to face her. "No, you mean we's going inside, as in you and me, together." She raised her finger. "You don't go in, I get to call you Yella." Carnelian started taking several deep breaths. If Daisy May was scared, she sure wasn't showing it. In fact, she walked right up to the left door and turned the knob. You be careful, Daisy May, Truck told her cautiously. The little farm girl opened the door easy enough. Truck looked at both Jasper and me as we gulped. I remembered hearing mixed things about haunted houses. Mom always used to say there were no such things. And Dad, let's just say he had his reasons for introducing me to the Strickfield University website shortly after the local legends tab was added. I don't mind telling you, I think my stomach went totally numb. I literally couldn't feel it at all, especially after Daisy May had just opened one of the doors. Then Carnelian went up behind Daisy and tried to shove her inside. Get in there! Daisy May held on. Oh, no, you don't. You ain't forcing me inside. She quickly turned around and grabbed Carnelian's wrist. Like I said, you're coming in with me. Carnelian screamed when both she and Daisy May tumbled into the house together. Truck, Jasper, and I didn't think much of it as we went in after the girls. Daisy May and Carnelian got back on their feet and looked like they were going to duke it out right there. Principal Van Diest can't say or do anything since we're off school property, Carnelian said, raising her fists. In fact, he doesn't even know we're out here. Fine by me, you rotten Hickenbottom, Daisy May replied, raising her fists. I don't mind whooping your butt out here. Before we could try and stop them from fighting, the door we came through suddenly slammed shut. I don't recall if we all screamed, but I was sure we did. Jasper went right to the doors and tried to open them. No! She cried out. No! Then she stopped trying the knobs and called upward. I'm the jokester around here, and this is not funny. Now Carnelian was trying the knobs. Hey, Country Mouse, you opened one of these doors. How about opening one again? Daisy May folded her arms in front of her. And why should I? You wanted to come out here, Carney, so you can stay right in here with me, you yella Hickenbottom. Carnelian growled and raised her fists again. Okay, that's it. You and me, right now, it's on. She and Daisy May collided with each other and were wrestling for control on the floor. Those two couldn't stop calling each other any names that came to mind. We went and broke them up. How dare you touch me, you filthy greaser? Carnelian yelled at me. Let me go. Truck had to talk some sense into both girls. All right, we get it. You two can't stand each other. Problem here is we're trapped in this house. Let's worry about getting out of here first. Then you two can go about fighting once we're out of the backwoods. It was only when the girls agreed to stop fighting that we let them go. But Carnelian lied and went at Daisy May again, tackling her to the floor. Carnelian grabbed Daisy May by her pigtails. I think I'm gonna ride you like a horse, Country Mouse. Daisy May suddenly turned around underneath Carnelian and grabbed her necktie. How about I hang you by your scrawny neck? What kind of idiot girl even wears a tie anyways? We separated them again. When Daisy May tried breaking free to get to Carnelian, I lifted her off the floor and held her on my shoulder. Truck and Jasper stopped Carnelian. You let me down right now, Billy, Daisy May yelled. Then she growled and squirmed. Truck talked to both girls and got them to promise to stop fighting until we got out of Grimm Manor. I saw Carnelian crossing her fingers when I shined my smartphone light her way. When I called her out on it, she protested and promised again. After I put Daisy May down, The two girls faced each other again. You'd have sworn they were a couple of wildcats that lived around the bikers. The rich girl went and tried one door. Daisy May tried the other. "Ah, phoo," Daisy May muttered. "Don't know about you, but this here door's stuck tight." Carnelian banged her forehead on the door and held it there. "I can't believe we're really trapped in a haunted house on Halloween night." "How do we get out of here?" Jasper asked while shaking. Carnelian turned and shoved her. "You tell me, airhead." Daisy May turned and shoved her back. "You back off Jinx right now. Seriously, Carney Mirren, I've had it with you being so mean all the time." So much for their promises. They were fighting again. This time we did not break them up. Carnelian thought Daisy May Donnerly was going to be easy to push around because of how small and thin she was, but she was finding out she would have been better off to bully Madeline. Daisy May sure knew how to fight, and was showing Carnelian she picked the wrong Donnerly triplet to mess with. Carnelian showed she herself could fight. Still, these girls were evenly matched. I was ready to tell Jasper and Truck that we needed to stop them, but then Daisy May and Carnelian found themselves being forced apart, and we never touched them. Just then, everything went bright. We saw we were in the front parlor. I know I cried out when we saw this ghost at the light switch. That's right. There really was electricity in that haunted house. The ghost looked like an old man in his 60s with gray hair. He didn't have a beard, but he had on similar clothes to what Daisy May was wearing. I don't mind telling you, we were all pretty scared. Even Daisy May looked like she was ready to scream. "No, sir. It ain't often we get guests out here at our house," the ghost said in a country tone, similar to Daisy May's. "But as long as y'all here, there ain't gonna be no fightin'." Even though Carnelian was scared at seeing this ghost, she was still stubborn as the next Mirren. She pointed right at him. "Don't you dare tell me what I can and can't do. I don't care if you are a ghost. If I want to tear Little Miss Perfect here apart, then I'm doing it." Oh, did that ever make Daisy May mad again? She pointed right at Carnelian. "Yeah? Well, you look a lot like my punching bag after I'm done punching it." The two girls went at each other one more time, but the ghost waved his hands and magically separated them again. Then he looked right at Carnelian and said, "We sorta got us a problem here. See, you mortals are in our house, and as long as you're here, there ain't gonna be no fightin'." Then he shook his head. "Since you all happen to come out here on Halloween night, I'd say you're all in grave trouble. We could have let you out, but you two'd be right back to fightin' all over again." Another ghost appeared next to him, an old woman of about the man's age. She spoke just like the old man and Daisy May. "No, you're right, August. We simply cannot have that." No doubt about it. Those two ghosts were August and Dorothy Grimm. There were all kinds of stories about them at the Strickfield University website under the Grimm Manor heading. But now, we were actually meeting them. The latest story I'd read was by Bethany Martinson, who was forced to come and spend the night in this house one 4th of July after she got stranded in the backwoods during a bad rainstorm. At least she lived to tell about it. August glanced at his wife. "What you reckon we ought to do about these mortals, dear?" Dorothy pointed at both Daisy May and Carnelian. "I think y'all are going to spend some time with us. Tell you what, If you two young chickens can make it through the rest of Halloween night without fighting, well, then August and me'll send you on your merry way back into the mortal realm come midnight. Dorothy raised her finger. If you start fighting again, then you're gonna stay right here at Grimm Manor till you learn the errors of your ways. This old house has been here a long, long time, and it'll be here even longer. We got plenty of rooms here at the manor. Won't be no problem whatsoever putting y'all up here. Then, time will be all you've got. Carnelia pointed to the ghosts. You can't do this. I'm a Mirren. August shook his finger at her. Well now, allow me to remind you that you are in our home now. That means you all gotta play by house rules, and since my better half here makes the house rules, well, Dorothy glanced at August. I think you should give 'em a game to play while they're here. Don't you think? August brightened up. Why, that's a swell idea. He reached into his flannel shirt pocket and pulled out an old-style key. Then he threw it on the floor. We're gonna give you all a sportin' chance at getting out of Grimm Manor before midnight. You find the right lock for this here key, and you can get out of here. If you don't get out before midnight, then Dorothy'll come around to give you all your very own rooms here, seeing as you'll be staying with us forever. Dorothy raised her finger. And if you two start fighting even once, then you all remain here at Grimm Manor regardless. She pointed to both Carnelian and Daisy May. There's more to life than fighting. That's why August and me escaped to these parts and lived our lives up north. We wanted no part of the Civil War. Ain't nothing never been solved with fighting. And I mean it. No fightin'. And if you all get hungry, there's plenty of food in the kitchen, so help yourselves. August finished. Now, you all best be using that there key and finding the one lock it fits. If you all look around carefully, you just might find clues leading to it. He raised his finger. And since you all were so kind enough to visit us here at Grimm Manor this fine Halloween night, I'm going to give you all one free clue to get you started. August waved his arm and motioned for us. Follow me. As Daisy May was about to pick up the key, Carnelian pointed right at her. You touch that key, I'll knock you colder than that floor. Daisy May raised her fists. Come on, you rotten Hickenbottom, let's go. But Dorothy waved her arm and forced them apart. This'll be your last warning, you two. No fightin'. Carnelian shot back to her feet, looking meaner and angrier than ever, like she had gotten some of Daisy May's fire inside her. She tightened her fists and yelled at the ghosts. You're not keeping me in here. One way or another, I'm taking that key. I'm getting out of here. August and Dorothy Grimm just looked at each other. Then Dorothy said to Carnelian, Well, you better learn to make friends with these kids, 'cause you ain't getting out of here without 'em. All right, August, give 'em their clue. We heard what sounded like a grandfather clock. August brightened up. Ah, yes, that'll be where your one clue is. Come on into the living room with us, kids, Dorothy insisted. The 5 of us followed the ghosts until we reached the living room. I counted 9 dings from the clock on the way there. After the lights came on, the ghosts turned to face us. Carnelian glared at Daisy May. I had never seen her so determined. Just the way she looked at that key. All right, We see you're ready to get started with searching for that one lock, August said. And your free clue. He pointed at the grandfather clock that had just sounded the hour. Look at the time carefully, 'cause time's your only friend and how you're getting out of Grimm Manor. Now that I've given you your free choice, it's time to start the game. Remember, y'all got till midnight. Then the Grimms disappeared, leaving us in the living room by ourselves. Now that we could see more of the parlor, it struck me funny. A haunted house that didn't look anything like a haunted house. It was as if Dorothy Grimm herself, or somebody, had kept the house in order, even if it remained empty. Jasper walked over to the grandfather clock and looked at the face. "What do you think you're even doing with looking at that clock, Jinx?" Carnelian chastised. "We all know you're too dumb to even tell time." Truck was as easygoing as Madeline Donnerly. It was sad people were afraid of him because of his height and build. Like I said, he was the biggest and strongest kid at Strickfield Junior High. He looked upset now and went to Carnelian. "Seriously, if you ain't gonna help, then just shut up. Truth be told, I'm getting real tired of you." Carnelian gave her evil smile and also raised an eyebrow that seemed to gleam. "Oh, what are you going to do? Hit me? I dare you to try." Truck answered by shoving her enough to make her fall onto a couch behind her. Then he turned and went over to Jasper. "What are you looking for?" She glanced his way. "Believe it or not, I actually love riddles. Great way to get you thinking." She pointed to the clock. "The time's right, 'cause that's what my phone says. A little after 9. That ghost said time is our friend and our only way out. I'm thinking these hands point the way. If we follow the hour hand," she pointed in the direction, "then we head down that hallway there," she pointed to the clock. "If we follow the minute hand, then we gotta go upstairs." She pointed in the same direction as said hand. "That way." "We can either pick a direction or stay together," I said, "or we can split into teams and see what we find." Jasper trotted to the hallway and flipped the switch. When we saw just how long it was, she glanced over her shoulder. "I think we're gonna find our door this way. There's gotta be at least 9 doors down there." Then she started counting the doors as she moved into the hall. "But there ain't 5 floors going up," Daisy May concluded, the time being 9:05. Carnelian joined us. "But that hand could be pointing to a door on one of the upper floors, you little simpleton." Daisy May ignored her. "Since we're down here, we could check the hall first. If this key don't work, then we know we gotta go up." Jasper smiled brightly. "I found it! This one is the right door. I know it. Look, these doors ain't evenly across from each other. This is 9 right here." "Reckon we'll find out," Daisy May said. "All them doors look like they got the same kind of lock. Well, here you go, Jinx." Jasper accepted the key and put it in the hole. The lock popped as soon as she turned it. When she finished, she handed the key back to Daisy May before opening the door, just as Carnelian looked ready to grab at the key. "Wow," Jasper gasped after turning on the light. "I ain't never seen an old game room like this one before." Outside of Grimm Manor, a game room might mean an arcade, like at Roth's Rings, maybe even a room full of board games. But in that old mansion, a game room meant cards and chips, There was even a roulette table and a few slot machines. The first thing I saw was the dartboard that took up a section of the back wall. "There ain't no other door out of here," Jasper said. "That means our next clue has gotta be in here." Carnelian brushed past me and Truck. "Out of my way. We don't have time to be standing around. I have to get out of this house." As Carnelian was about to gather up the playing cards on the poker table, Daisy May blocked her way. "Ain't a good idea to start touching stuff in here until we seen everything first." Carnelian groaned and shoved Daisy May out of her way. "I'm not listening to you." Before Carnelian could try grabbing the cards again, Daisy May shoved her away. "Hands off, you Hickenbottom!" Now Jasper was right there in between them. She wasn't there to keep the other girls apart, though. She was examining the table. "These flipped cards. I think they're a clue." She pointed to the 4 hands dealt, but only one card turned up on each one. 4 aces. It's gotta mean something. "Yeah, since when are there 2 aces of spades in a normal deck?" Daisy added, pointing to them. "I think you found something here, Jinx." Jasper squinted a little, which she did when she was thinking. Then she looked at the roulette table. "There!" We went to the roulette table. Now it was my turn to contribute something. "Good thinking, Jasper. Look at this." I pointed to the table. Seeing these diamonds could mean either red diamonds or black spades. Since there were 2 aces of spades, I think the black diamond here's got something to do with it. Then I saw it on the roulette wheel itself. There! The roulette wheel had a pattern to where it was 1 black number, 1 red number, and then alternated, and every number corresponded to the ones on the table itself, all but one, which was the green 0. Then I saw the 2 was black on the table and wheel. "I see it!" Jasper gasped. She pointed to Carnelian. "Bring them 2 aces of spades over here." But Carnelian wouldn't move and glared at her. "Last I checked, I don't take orders from lower life forms like you." "Aw, phoo. We ain't got no time for this." Daisy May moved to the table, but Carnelian wouldn't let her pass. "Move it, you idiot!" Carnelian suddenly grabbed her arm. "Give me that key right now." Again, Truck came to Daisy May's rescue. He grabbed Carnelian by her suit jacket and lifted her right off the floor. She wasn't even looking scared this time. "You're really getting on my nerves, you know that?" Truck tells her. "Leave Daisy May alone. Last time I'm telling you." Then he put her back down. I went and got the 2 aces of spades and brought them to Jasper. "Here." "Oh, you're such a sweetheart," Jasper gushed, taking the cards. Then she surprised me by kissing my cheek. It was moments like that that made me wonder if that crazy girl really liked me. Jasper went and put a card down on the spade icon, and the second one on the black 2. From there, she moved the roulette wheel to the black 2. Suddenly, a door opened at the back of the room where the target and darts were. No doubt about it, Jasper Jinx was the hero of the scene. We all looked at her with amazement. Even Carnelian seemed impressed, and I knew she never impressed easily. Jasper smirked. "Like I said, I love riddles. Coming?" Jasper walked through the secret door. The rest of us followed her into another room, where the walls were all full of squared tiles. Directly in front of us was a 9x9 section, where some of the white tiles had numbers, and some didn't. There were also red ones forming an X that had a number or nothing. To the right of the numbers was a small table with pieces of black chalk and an eraser. On the left of the numbers was a portrait from back in the Civil War era. To our surprise, it was all 5 of us in it. The background was from all those years ago, but we were wearing our current Halloween costumes. There were also X's written over each of us. Suddenly, the door we went through slammed shut. Carnelian went to it and tried the knob. When it wouldn't budge, she turned to Jasper. "You don't understand, you idiot. I have to get out of this house. Why can't you understand that?" Jasper didn't even look insulted. She raised her finger and waved it. "No, I'm pretty sure we're on the right track here." She lowered her hand. "I doubt we would have found anything like this going upstairs." Jasper put her finger and thumb to her chin and squinted. After a bit, she opened her eyes fully and snapped her fingers. She smiled sweetly to me. "Bill, could I get some chalk, please?" I picked up a piece of chalk and handed it to her. She took it and started writing numbers. "Too obvious. It's Sudoku. I saw Daisy May here buried in one of them books during our first week of school when we were in study hall. It looked like something to do with riddles. I can't believe how addicting those puzzles are. I still love doing them." We watched as Jasper studied the board and filled in the numbers. Soon she was filling them in faster, until, "Done!" We all waited to see if anything would happen. Daisy May was looking over the board and moving her finger along the places Jasper filled in. "Looks quite all right to me." Jasper looked let down. "But why isn't anything happening, Daisy May? It's like I'm missing something here. This is a Sudoku puzzle, right?" "It's gotta be," Daisy May agreed. "I'm sure you got these numbers right." She stepped back and examined the board and the portrait again. Then her eyes opened wide as she raised a finger. "Hold it!" She pointed to me. "Give me the eraser, Billy." "Here you go," I said, handing it to her. Daisy May took the eraser and wiped away a few of the numbers. Then she filled them in with new ones. When she was finished, the board glowed bright before another door opened nearby. Jasper quickly got in front of Daisy May and grabbed her shoulders. "You gotta tell me, what did I miss? I've been doing these puzzles religiously since I first saw you doing them." She groaned and released Daisy May. "You said I got it right." She smiled and lightly slapped Jasper's shoulder. "You were on the right track, Jinx." She guided Jasper to turn around the board. "Turns out you didn't go into the puzzle deep enough. Looky here." She pointed to the diagonal lines of darker tiles. "See them X's in that picture? See how them squares here make an X? You had to solve for the 2 lines making up the X." Jasper couldn't believe it. "But I'm always playing Sudoku X," Daisy May finished. "Guessing you was playing the regular one." Jasper smiled. "If we get out of here, I'm playing Sudoku X first thing tomorrow." Then she snatched Daisy May to her and hugged her tight. "Thank you." "It's all good, Jinx," Daisy May replied, hugging her back. When the girls separated, Jasper said to herself, "Sudoku X. Wow, who knew?" Carnelian couldn't believe Daisy May knew the answer to the riddle Jasper had started. But that stubborn Mirren girl wanted to keep pigeonholing Daisy May as some dumb little farm girl who would never amount to anything. At the time, I wished Carnelian's parents would have enrolled her at Strickfield Academy. I was sure she would have fit in better out there than in public school. We all entered into a hallway. There weren't any doors except for the one at the very end, which opened up for us. We all entered into an even bigger room, more like the living room where we started. Did we take a wrong turn or something? I asked no one in particular. Then Carnelian shoved Jasper to the floor and pointed down at her. Stupid, stupid, stupid! You were the one who wanted us to go down that hallway. The rest of us went to Jasper and helped her up. Then I turned to Carnelian. At least Jasper's trying to help us get out of here. You haven't done a single thing. Carnelian gave us an angry scowl. And I'm not going to. You're all beneath me, so why would I help any of you? She glared at Daisy May. Last time, give me that key. Again, Daisy May defied her. You ain't getting it. Hold it, Jasper suddenly called out, raising her arms outward. Something ain't right about this. You have my key, Carnelian yelled at Daisy May. Last chance. You either hand it over or I'll tear you limb from limb until you give it to me. One way or another, I'm getting out of this horrible place. Daisy May clearly wanted to fight Carnelian again, but she humbled herself. When we get out of here, then we can go our separate ways. Till then, I'm keeping hold of this here key for all of us. Carnelian suddenly screamed and grabbed Daisy May to try to take the key from her. Truck and I went to separate her and Daisy May again. Jasper even joined us, but I had a hunch. No, Jasper, you looked like you were onto something in this room, I told her. If you can figure it out, work on that. We got to get out of here. Jasper didn't look so sure. Okay. Thinking I confused her, I had to tell her something to set her back in the right direction. Hey, think about me. We could go to another movie together if you get us out of this. Jasper squealed with delight at hearing that. Really? When I nodded quickly, she turned back to the clock and looked at it again. Carnelian suddenly surprised everybody when she closed her eyes and held herself tightly. I can't do this anymore, she choked out. I tried to be strong by my parents, but... Then she screamed in fright and ran. We quickly went after her. She kept screaming and yelling for help. She reached a window and grabbed a chair, which she ended up breaking on the glass. When she saw the window wasn't even scratched, she bellowed, "Let me out!" When she saw us there, she shook her head quickly and sank into a sitting position. What's wrong, Carney? Daisy May uttered. I can't take it anymore, Carnelian cried. I wanted to get you out of Strickfield Junior High and out of my life, so I made sure you'd come out here. But then you made me come in here with you. This mansion really is haunted. I'm so scared. She began to cry. Go ahead, Country Mouse. Tell the whole school I'm Yella. Tell Cousin Ariel, heck, tell your city mouse cousin that Carnelian Mirren chickened out at Grimm Manor. Little Miss Perfect. You'd have thought Daisy May would have made fun of her rival, but she knelt down in front of her. We're scared too, Carney, so you can call all of us Yella. I knelt down in front of Carnelia too. The only way we're getting out of here is if we work together. Will you help us now? Jasper knelt and joined us. We ain't your enemies, Carney. Carnelian's eyes went wide as she looked past us, pointing shaky fingers, and bellowed out a blood-curdling scream. We turned to see two ghosts floating nearby. They sure looked like the typical bedsheet kind. One of them pointed at us. Key. Jasper saw she had the key. Oh no! We turned and ran off. Then we realized Carnelian wasn't with us and had to go back to get her. Get up! Daisy May groaned as I helped her try to get Carnelian back on her feet. When she was still too scared to be moved, Truck easily pulled her up off the floor and into his arms. Let's go. We ran back into the living room that we came in through. Those ghosts were behind us, just moaning and groaning. I gently slapped Jasper's arm. You were onto something in here. Get back to it. Get us out of this. I'll even buy you whatever you want at the concession stand. Boy, did that crazy girl's eyes ever brighten up. All right. Then she looked worried. But what about those ghosts? We'll keep 'em off you, I answered. Of course, I hadn't told Jasper that I might have lied. The truth was I wasn't sure how we could deal with those ghosts. She ducked out of sight and hid till she knew the coast was clear. Then she got up and went to the grandfather clock again. She was studying it carefully, as the rest of us were keeping those ghosts on us. As for Carnelian, she kept shouting at those ghosts to just go away. I got it! Jasper suddenly shrieked happily. This ain't the real living room. We kept running from the ghosts while trying to listen to her explain. It's like the Sunday comics page in the Strickfield Journal. There's kiddie games in it and puzzles. One game shows 2 panels where you gotta find 6 differences. I don't know how many you gotta find here, but I just found a major one. Jasper had the key in her hand and raised it to the grandfather clock. She hadn't expected one of those ghosts to appear right behind her. Key! Jasper freaked out and dropped it. At the same time, she tripped over her own feet, trying to escape. Jasper Jinx was a prankster who loved riddles, loved going to movies, scared easily, was weird, and on top of all of that, was a bit of a klutz. But she hadn't lost Halloween night for us just yet. She quickly spun around and snatched the key back. Then she got scared again when she was on her rear end and looking right up at that ghost. Key! It repeated, holding out its hand. Jasper smiled weirdly and laughed a little as she pulled herself back up to her feet. Guys? Then she groaned and started running up and over the recliners and couches to keep either of those ghosts from getting her. When Jasper came to me, we collided and I was knocked over. The key flew out right in the middle of the floor. Those ghosts turned and floated after it. Carnelian was the closest to it now, but she was still too scared to know to pick it up. Come on, Hickenbottom, just pick up the key, Daisy May called out to her. That made Carnelian switch gears. She was still scared, but she pointed right at Daisy May. Quit calling me a Hickenbottom! Carnelian realized the key was at her feet. She quickly scooped it up and ran. Those ghosts groaned even louder as they chased her down. The look on her face made me wonder if she was going to pass out from fright. Outside of a place like this, Carnelian Mirren was a force to be reckoned with. But here at Grimm Manor, she had become diffused over time. I can't take this anymore! Carnelian cried out. Then she stumbled and fell. Those ghosts stopped near her. Key! They chanted together. Please, leave me alone! Carnelian begged. "I'm too young to die." "Carney!" Clearly she was too scared to hear Jasper calling out to her. "Snap out of it, will ya?" Carnelian managed to see Jasper, still at the grandfather clock, and waving her arms. The rich girl was still overcome with fear as the ghosts floated near her. She forced herself to get up. Her legs must have been rubbery as she stared at those hovering beings, but she managed to focus just enough to throw the key in Jasper's direction. Jasper was scared herself, but she showed she was handling her fear better when she jumped up and caught the key. She fumbled with it when it landed in her hands. "No!" she groaned. "No!" Then she finally secured it with both hands. "Yes!" Jasper's happiness turned sour quickly when those ghosts were going after her now. She squealed with fright and turned to the grandfather clock. She fumbled again, but managed to jam the key into the left side lock of the clock's face. When it didn't turn, she pulled it back out and fumbled with it in the right side of the clock. Come on! Jasper fidgeted. She finally got the key in and kept turning it effortlessly until there was this loud click. Then the clock sounded the hour. Midnight. She turned around to see the ghosts were backing off. Then they changed from bedsheets into August and Dorothy Grimm. "Looks like Halloween night is over," August said. "You all made it to the stroke of midnight." Truck pointed to them. "It was you two making us scared? Not fair!" Carnelian was holding herself again when she managed to ask, Does that mean we can leave?" Dorothy gestured past her. "Sure thing, honey. Front door's waiting for you all." When Carnelian started shaking again, indicating she was about to go into another fright meltdown, Daisy May moved in front of her. "Come on, Carney, snap out of it," she squeaked. "You heard Dorothy. We all are getting out of here now." And for the first time ever, Carnelian wrapped her arms around Daisy May. "Don't leave me here, please. I'm begging you, don't leave me here." We saw Daisy May's weirded out look, but she hugged Carnelian back with caution. "It's all right, Carney. Get on up and let's go home, 'kay?" When Daisy May felt Carnelian nodding slowly, she let go of her. But Carnelian still wasn't letting go. Then Truck eased her arms off Daisy May. "It's okay, Carney. You can stick with me if you wanna," he offered. "I won't let anything happen to you, I promise." When Carnelian heard that, she brightened up and looked over at him. Okay." When she was still spooked, Trucker lifted her into his arms. From there, the ghosts escorted us to the front doors. When Dorothy Grimm tried to comfort Carnelian, she got scared and was ready to scream again. "It's okay, Carney," Truck assured her again. "I ain't gonna let anything happen to you. For what it's worth, young lady, what we did with you mortals tonight was all in fun," Dorothy told her. "We don't get mortals coming our way very often at all." "She's right," August agreed. "And besides, we'd never let anything happen to any of you. Sure, we scared all of you, but hey, it is Halloween." "We do appreciate you all for coming our way and spending some time here," Dorothy continued. Then I asked Carnelian, "Are you going to be okay? Why are you so scared?" "Ghosts aren't supposed to be real," she shrieked. "They're supposed to be stories. All those stories going around Strickfield, they're supposed to be, they're supposed to just be stories." She looked at the Grimms. "You're not supposed to be real." Dorothy smiled a little. "You're gonna be just fine, honey. You're not the first to act this way after learning ghosts are very real. But you're leaving here now. You're still alive and can tell your story to whoever wants to listen." August smiled. "Maybe you'll all come back here again sometime." Carnelian shook her head fast. "Oh no, no way." Then she looked up at Truck. "Get us out of here, please." He smirked at the Grimms. "Appreciate you not hurting us and all. Guess we'll be getting out of here now. Good night and happy Halloween." Jasper walked to the doors and found they easily opened. "Let's go, you guys," she said happily. Then she looked at the door locks and put the key in one to easily work the mechanism. "That's right, young lady. That key opens and shuts any lock in the house," August said, holding out his hand. "You could have just left right here at the front door. Having said that, would you kindly return the key, please? It's almost time for me to wind up the clocks." "Yeah, sure," Jasper replied, and gave it back to him. After saying goodbye to the Grimms, they watched us get back on the motorbikes. Aside from Carnelian, the rest of us waved goodbye to our ghost hosts as we were leaving. Daisy May had let Jasper ride with her. Truck rode Jasper's bike since Carnelian refused to be separated from him. Daisy May led us back to the main road, where her farm was. The surprises weren't over just yet, however. Just as soon as we came out of the backwoods, these headlights suddenly came on not too far away. We slowed our bikes down as the pickup truck came to us. Slowly, it was something far more terrifying than any ghost, something that could make us wish we were trapped in Grimm Manor for all eternity. "Daisy May Donnerly, you are in a whole heap of trouble." "Ma?" Now we were all stopped in the road. Straight and Rose Donnerly got out of the pickup truck. Straight looked calm enough, but Rose, "I done told you never to go into them woods right there, didn't I?" she scolded. "Your pa here told you too." Daisy May showed where she got her fire from. "Yeah? Well, you can't tell me you and Pa ain't never done nothing crazy in your lives. You were both kids once too." Her parents just looked at each other. "She's right," Straight agreed. Rose just gave him an upset smirk. Then she turned back to her daughter. "You're right, Daisy May." She raised her finger. "But you need to remember that you are the child here, and your pa and me are your parents. That means you do what we say. You didn't do that, which means you're in big trouble." Now Rose looked at all of us. "Ain't none of you getting off scot-free neither. Now you all get your behinds up to the house right now. Then I'm calling all your folks to come and get you." "No!" We all looked to see Carnelian was the one who screamed. She had her arms up in front of her and was shaking her head. Rose folded her arms in front of her. "Oh, I cannot wait to hear this one." "Please don't call my parents, Mrs. Donnerly," Carnelian begged. "It was all me here. I'm the one who dared Daisy May to go to Grimm Manor tonight, knowing she would." "You really went out to Grimm Manor tonight?" Straight asked in surprise. "Wow, Straight," Rose snapped. He just shrugged. "At least they came back." When Rose looked over to Carnelian, she listened. If you have to punish anybody here, then punish me. I accept full responsibility for my actions. Just don't call my parents, please. I'll do whatever you want, I promise." Rose considered her. Then she unfolded her arms and pointed right at Carnelian. "Well now, I appreciate you taking responsibility for your actions, especially with you being a Mirren and all. Yeah, I know who you are. All of you." She pointed at both Carnelian and Daisy May. "My child here knows she done wrong. You admitted to doing wrong, so you want me to keep still about tonight, Carney? You'll be here tomorrow at 7 a.m. sharp. You and Daisy May are going to be doing chores together. Do a good job and I'll forget what happened here tonight. Heck, I'll even give you a few good squares along the way. Well, what do you say?" Carnelian nodded quickly. "Anything, just don't tell my parents. I'll be in so much trouble if they hear about this." Rose pointed to the rest of us. "That means the rest of you kids gotta keep quiet about Carney here, too." We all promised we wouldn't say anything about it. In fact, we took an oath. From there, that was the end of it. To sum things up, Carnelian kept her end of the bargain to Mrs. Donnerly and was at the farm at the agreed-upon time the next morning. Rose even fed her a few good farm meals. By the end of the day, Carnelian and Daisy May had all but patched things up. In fact, we were surprised when Carnelian wanted to start hanging out with all of us more. She even apologized to everyone for the way she treated us on Halloween night. Funny thing, she'd get those strange looks about her whenever anything about ghosts was mentioned, especially Grimm Manor. I can assure you, though, that it wouldn't be the last time Carnelian would meet up with ghosts and other spooky things that call Feltner County home. I'd say that's about it for me this time up, but don't worry. I'll be back with another one of my stories about our group real soon. Oh, and I almost forgot. Happy Halloween! All right, my spookies. Doors unlocked, candles out, and let's step carefully off the grounds of Grimm Manor. Because tomorrow is Halloween. And it's not just any Halloween. It marks 6 years of Weekly Spooky. To celebrate this occasion, Shane Migliavacca, the writer of the very first episode of Weekly Spooky, is returning with a brand new tale. After hours, the freezers die. A whisper knows a name, Nancy, and a man in a white mask waits under the parking lot lights. Something out there hates the cold, and it wants in. So make sure you're subscribed and do not miss it. And thank you all so much for joining me over the last 30 days of non-stop fun content and spooky stories. It's been a very daunting and exhausting job, but I'm proud to do it and happy to have you here. And if you want to show us a little bit of love, why not head to weeklyspooky.com/join. For as little as $1 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes every single month, as well as my undying gratitude. And speaking of, I want to say an extra special thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their names at the end of the show. And they are Johnny Nix, Kate and Lulu, Jessica Fuller, Mike Ishkui, Jenny Green, Amber Hansford, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. If you want to hear your name next to them and join over 90 other spookies, head to weeklyspooky.com/join. Your support helps us guarantee another 6 years of Weekly Spooky and so much more. And there are very big things coming. In November, We're Going Nowhere Halloween is a state of mind. So now for myself, for my executive producers Rob Fields and Bobbletopia.com, my producer Dan Wilder, and my composer Ray Mattis, well, I'll see you on Halloween.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.